So this guy says, had 2 dates with the woman who had mutual instant chemistry and connection, very affectionate in both dates. I lead, no problems. I tried to set up a third date, but she pulled away. I didn't send her lots of messages in between dates. I noticed she would respond to me and left me undelivered. I asked her why. Okay. And she said she doesn't feel like she is ready to fully date like me, as she had previously been in a 12-year relationship and didn't want to get into another one. I reassured her that I'm happy to go with the flow and take it easy, but she hasn't responded since. I've sent her more messages, big mistake, and she left me undelivered. I don't understand what I've done wrong. It's like she knows I am great relationship material and isn't open to the idea of it because she's not emotionally ready for it. She said she likes a man with emotional intelligence and availability, but when I asked if she has it, she said she's working on it. Oh man. Okay, that's a lot. So let me just kind of, I'm not trying to laugh at you guys. Like I'm laughing at, and I've said this on the show before, is that all women are the same and that they all think they're different. And yet, they all say the exact same things when it comes to gently letting down men. Oh, it's not about you. It's about, I was in this relationship. And let me tell you, I have dated divorced women that were like recently out of their marriages that were like, and again, I'm like, they're dating like, hey, I'm not trying to rush. I'm like, hey, we're just doing it with this and that. 3 months, 4 months in. Hey, so are you in a relationship? Like, can we be boyfriend and girlfriend? Like, why? Why is that? Because I will say this, women are great at picking up on energies. And so even if you aren't overtly saying we should be in a relationship, they can read from how you're interacting with them that everything you're doing is trying to push them into a new relationship. And if they're not ready for that, and I don't mean ready in the sense of like she dated this guy 12 years and she's not ready. I'm in the sense of like, if it's been like 2 or 3 dates and she's already getting the feeling from you that you're trying to push her towards a relationship and she's not there yet. That's what I talk about all the time. All we care about is where she's at. And this is why I know sometimes guys get mad when I say, what about my feelings? Your feelings are going to be too fast. Okay. Just get that out of the way. So your job is to figure out how to get the feeling off of you after 2 dates that you're ready for a relationship with this person. Because the fact that you said, she said she wants somebody emotionally intelligent and wants a relationship, and I'm already there, she's already reading off of you that you're ready for this to be a relationship. And it's been like, what, 2 or 3 dates? That's not enough time for her to have developed that, but because she's feeling off you the energy of, I want this to be a relationship. And that could be through your conversation. It could be maybe you're extra touchy feeling, you're not aware of it, but however you're interacting with her, she's getting the feeling that you want a relationship now. Otherwise, she wouldn't have brought up, hey, so I'm not trying to date right away because of, my 12-year relationship. But I can assure you, if you weren't giving off that feeling, she would be pining and coming to you by month 3, asking for it, So this is one of the situations where she lied. And again, I don't fault women for what they tell us because I understand as a guy, or I understand from women's perspective that guys can typically be very, how shall I say, unaccepting of when women are trying to reject them. Like if a woman just came out and said, hey, it's been 2 dates, it's been 2 dates, it's been great, but I'm not feeling it anymore, so I'm out. Then most guys be like, well, what do I do? What can I change? What can I do better? And they're not looking for that conversation at that point because they're already on the way out. I've actually found that just being like, okay, cool, well, if you change your mind, get back to me, usually can result in them eventually coming back. Because at that point, they realize by giving that kind of answer that I'm not trying to force this to be a thing. And it makes them question, well, why isn't he trying to, I thought he was going to fight me on this, but he seems cool. But so he's not trying to force me in a relationship. So does that mean he's not as desperate for it as I thought he was? Interesting. And then they'll think a few days. I've had it where I remember one time I was seeing a girl and I was being a little pushy. I was like, hey, because we live near each other, but she suddenly started slowing down her text and saying, I'm not sure if I'm ready for a relationship, blah, blah, blah. And so I literally I did one of the things, because I had exit attachment style back in the day. I showed up at her place unannounced. Hey, so just want to know what's going on, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, dude, I'm studying for tests and doing this thing, blah, blah, blah. I just need a few days. And so I said, for the first time, I said, you know what? All right, she's saying she needs a few days. I like her so much, I don't want to give her those few days, but I guess I need to do that because otherwise if I keep pestering her, I'm going to lose her. If I don't talk to her, I'm going to lose her. But at least I'll be showing respect for her process by leaving her alone a bit. And so I said, okay. And I went home, and for 2 painstaking days, I did not text her. I did not call her. I did not follow her or anything. It was so hard. And then 2 days later, hits me up. Hey, which is girl code for like, I want to talk to you now. I was like, hey, what's up? Nothing. What are you doing tonight? Oh, just chilling. Okay, cool. Well, let me know if you have any time. Because I gave her that time, and giving her that time made her realize I'm not as anxious as she thought I was, even though I was, but I was just trying out not being anxious because being anxious was not working for me. So yeah, so this is a situation where at the point where she said, I've been in a 12-year relationship, blah, 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 blah. You trying to reassure her and try to say things like, I don't need that, blah, blah. They know you're lying. So the best answer you can give is like, okay, well, hey, if you change your mind, hit me up. I'd love to see you some more, but if not, no harm, no foul. And then you get out. And then you wait. And this goes back to the conversation we're having today about being anxious, because a hard thing for an anxious person to do is to believe that they'll get the outcome that they want if they're not doing. Like, anxious people are all about, I need to do. I need to be in control. I need to move things around to make sure that I get what I want so I can feel confident in whatever the situation is. And the way that you get what you want is to let go. Like, it's a lesson I had to go through where I'm like, wait, so if I just do less stuff and just trust that the person on the other end that I'm trying to impress will also do things to try to impress me and do things of their own accord at some point to show me that they actually want me, that I'll be able to get the girl that I want. Well, this anxious thing has been working. Let's try that. So I started doing that. Lo and behold, more relationships, more hookups, more dates, all because I was not now trying to control the other person. All I could do is make the offer. Hey, I want to take you out. They can say yes or no to it. Beyond that, take them out, show them a good time, and hope to God in another 4 to 6 days that when I ask them out again, they want to do it again. And then at some point, you make the move to make the kiss, you make the move to go to the bedroom, and you just hope that the move you make is going to be accepted. All I can do is make the move the best way that I know how and hope that it's accepted. And if it's not accepted, don't get butthurt by it. It may have been timing of the move. It may have been that they're not ready for the move. It may have been that they're still hung up on an ex and need to get over that. So I got to delay the move, but I can't take it personally. All I can do is make the offer the best way I know how. Now, I have a whole program at my website called Introvert Dating Success Academy. And that whole academy, this is just a plug, walks you through the ins and outs of how to go from meeting a woman to getting into a relationship. And it takes you through all the steps from meeting them, calling them up, taking them on dates. And one of the things I talk about is the specific ways to make certain moves that's naturally comfortable for both you and the woman that make her open to these next steps. So this is why I say, if you have a blueprint for how to date, it makes the anxiousness of dating just completely go away. Like, before I had a blueprint of how this all stuff works, I was like, okay, so I took them out on a date, but like, when do I talk about my feelings? When do I call them? And when do I have a sit down conversation? And when do I do and the unknowing of all that is really what kept me the most anxious. At the point that I actually figured out a consistent flow of how to go from meeting a woman to getting into a relationship, no more anxiousness. Now I'm the captain of the ship. Now I know what moves to make. I know the moves she's going to say or do before she even makes them. So I already know how to be prepared for what to say when she says stuff like, well, I don't want to rush into a relationship. I already know what to say. Well, I just want you to know I'm dating other people. I already know what to say. And so because I'm able to move with a lot more confidence, it results in women getting rid of any other guys who would have been dating, and also me getting up to getting more relationships. So again, that's for the Introvert Dating Success Academy. Again, you can check all that out, the website, introvertdatingsuccess.com. Plug over. Anyway, so hopefully, Guy, that helps you in terms of like understanding the mindset of where she's at, understanding where you need to be, is that, and I always tell you guys, you need to live in your head about abundance. Every woman you date, until she gets to month 3, you should not even assume that she's ready for a relationship. You should assume that's why if you're dating 2 or 3 different women at one time, and I've done some shows about that, but basically that opens your mind up and makes you realize that they all have to work to prove to you why it is that they need to be chosen, instead of you sitting there like, I want her to choose me so bad. If you're in the position where you're wanting women to choose you that badly, you're going to lose like every time. So it's better to get into the headspace where it's like, you guys are technically both doing the choosing, but like you're not so sold on her after 1 or 2 dates. And like you're going to find most women in their experience, after 1 or 2 dates, most guys are already sold on them and already trying to get them into a relationship. If you're the one guy that comes along and gives the impression to her that, yeah, it's been 2 or 3 dates, it's been a good hookup, she made me one meal, but what else is there? And that you're not so impressed by the fact that she just went out with you and chose you to go on a date with, you're going to find that more women are going to want to date you longer, and it's going to leave you with the option of choosing them because they're going to be the ones coming to you saying, hey, what are we? And as I always say, if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you. But if she thinks you're chasing her, as much as women talk about, I want a guy to chase me. If you think about like the animal kingdom, right? The male lion runs faster than the female lion. They don't want to be mauled down, right? So you let them come to you instead. And this is how the operating of the dating game works. But again, if you have a blueprint for all that stuff, then you'll be better equipped to be less anxious as it pertains to dating and the situation in particular, you know? He says, thanks for the reply. If she reaches out, hopefully I will be over it and my indifference may attract her back. I always tell you guys, indifference is really a big key to the dating game. Like, and I think sometimes people take being indifferent to meaning not caring. It's not that you don't care about the person. It's that you're indifferent to the process. Meaning, if you understand the dating process, for most people, the dating process, in order to be successful, is going to be the majority of women you date aren't going to end up in a relationship with you. Like my favorite show of all time, not of all time, but like I used to watch How I Met Your Mother, and the guy on there, Barney Stinson, played by Neil Patrick Harris, he was like the ladies' man in the group. And what's his face? Marshall, his friend, put together a graph of like how many approaches he has to do. And then how many of those approaches have to actually work to get Barney to be able to actually even get a hookup? It was like 1.5 to 2% or some crap like that. Like he has to hit on a lot of women, get smacked a bunch of times to have a few women left that want to have a conversation. And then it boils down to a few more women that want to actually hook up. So even guys that are like debonair guys that get like, you know, we see those guys that get like, oh, I slept with 100 girls. I can assure you he probably had to hit on like 3 or 4 times as many to get that number. So don't think even the suave guys aren't having a problem with hooking up with women. You know, you have to reach a level of celebrity and status to where that's barely an issue. But even most good looking guys aren't just walking into a bar and saying like, hey, somebody hook up with me. Like women can do that and get a bunch of dudes. A hot looking guy, bar with 100 girls in it. Hey, who wants to hook up? He might get 10 girls if he's lucky. You know what I'm saying? So just know that if you know that rejection is part of the game and that sometimes you're going to be dating a girl and thinking it's all great and all of a sudden it just kind of goes away, that's normal for every guy, all right? But it's not who rejects you, it's how do you handle the rejection? Do you say, no, please come back and date me. I want to show blah, blah, blah. Or do you just be like, okay, well, best of luck. And if you change your mind, hey, hit me up. If I'm still available, let me know. I'll let you know. We can start something up again. And again, that attitude, it removes from a woman's mind a lot of the negatives she was initially thinking about you. She was thinking you were anxious, desperate, needy. You were going to be begging for her approval all the time and trying to beg her for sex. And then when you just say, okay, well, best of luck to you, now that gets those thoughts out of the head. And I've had several times in my life, especially back when I didn't know all this stuff, where like, you know, in my college days, for example, I had a female friend that I had a crush on and she had a crush on me, but then I called her up one day and told her that I liked her, and then she stopped liking me. I stopped talking to her sporadically for like 3 or 4 months. Next thing I know, she's hitting me up. She's inviting me over. She showed up to her door in lingerie. And then I was trying to get needy again. She went away. I stopped talking to her for a couple months. She comes back. And why was that? Is it because she's like a crazy person? No, it's because she wanted the version of me that was the fun version, that wasn't obsessed and being super serious about a relationship. Because women are the ones that need to come to you when they're ready to be serious in a relationship capacity. You as the guy trying to come to them with it, it's always gonna be too soon. It's gonna feel like too much. And women want it to feel like it's their choice to get into a relationship. Even though you have a say in the choice, she wants to feel like she's the one that's generally pushing this agenda. So just let them think that. Like, it's not the game to let them think that they want the relationship more. It's actually better for you as the guy because realistically, she knows, look, women know at the point that they agree to a relationship with you, they're going to do all the things. They're going to sacrifice their time, effort, energy. They're going to be doing all these things to you, like buying things for you randomly or saying, hey, babe, I thought of you today and just want you to, you know, have a good day. And I made your lunch for you, all this other stuff. And so that's why it takes them longer to assess a guy, because they know at the point that they get into it and they have their feelings and emotions tied to you specifically, it's going to be very, very hard if this doesn't work out. So if you just respect that about their process, then it makes you less apt to have to rush them through it so hard to get to that point. She dated a guy for 12 years. I can assure you that she has 12 years built up with this other guy, a relationship capacity. I don't know if she broke it off or if he broke it off, but that's 12 years of stuff, right? But then she had to break that off. Do you think she wants to experience that again? No. So she's going to take her time to really analyze and assess that you are the right guy, so she doesn't rush into it, have all the feels, and then it just goes nowhere. So again, if you respect that that happened as part of her journey, then just be the fun guy. Guys get so hung up these days on the thing we're doing has to be called a relationship. And I'm like, why? Like, you're mad that a woman, for the moment in time being, just wants to spend time with you and hook up with you without calling it a relationship. But you're still getting a hookup. You're still getting her to do nice things for you. You're still getting kissy poos and all this other stuff. But if it's not called a relationship, but that goes to the anxious attachment style. If we feel as though if the title's not there, she's going to possibly still have her options open to leave us for somebody else, and that can't happen. And then you end up losing her anyway because you're so anxious. So just some food for thought about that, you know?
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high